Mr. Knight. Hey, Irish and Sketchy. You haven't followed me here before, have you? Or you've come over from Will's stream, I'm guessing. Hey, Adam. That's the rumor, Adam. But, you know, don't hold me to it. I got 3 different requests for Moon Knight. Only one of them specifically said Mr. Knight. So I need to find out what the other ones are. But I figured, since I have 3, I just don't. I was just saying to a friend there, I don't want to draw 3 Moon Knights in a row. Otherwise, I'll get tired of it. So. Oh right, gotcha. Irish and Sketchy. Yeah, I have the same problem. I had to try to sign into my Netflix the other day, and I was having awful problems. I'm trying to watch that last episode of Better Call Saul, but Netflix has conspired against me. Is Will not streaming right now? I thought he said he did 6 o'clock as well. I know my friend Will Sliney is streaming right now. He's got a huge platform of people, so I'm happy with who I can get. Adam, I read where Warren Ellis said injection is indefinitely on hiatus. No, I wouldn't say definitely. The plan is next. I mean, we're hoping next year. With all of the, I had some stuff that got in my way, which because of this lockdown has kind of made those projects null and void. Really, and publishing is kind of in a weird place. It doesn't feel like it's a smart move to start back on it just yet. But we were talking about it, and we reckon like next year we'll get back to it and finish it off, which works for me, to be honest, because I wanted to get to injection around then anyway. So yep, that's the plan. Hey Tooth. Sketchy details. I love that first run of Moon Knight between you and Warren Ellis. Thank you so much. Cheers. Me too. I loved it a lot too. I was kind of hoping we'd do 12 issues so we could get a nice hardcover out of it, but Warren, from the very beginning, just wanted to do the 6. But they're, well, probably better off, because by the time those 6 issues were over, I was nearly dead. It was a lot of work. Raise the demons oh, hey Dave, how's it going? If anybody doesn't know, Stokes' book on here is a very talented artist, so if, I would wait. No, you have to be streaming, don't you? If I wanted to raid you, Dave. Yeah, that's what it works. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Wait, I was reading. Oh, thanks, Sketchy. Well, every issue was great in its own way. Personally speaking, my favorite is the raid one. Well, I wouldn't call it the raid one, but it pretty much is. It's my favorite one, and tends to be most for people's favorite one. But I mean, if that wasn't an issue, all the other ones would be my favorite. What would Moon Knight be jumping off of? I guess a building. These crescent things are a bit superfluous. And also, This doesn't look like much of a jump. Dave, how are you keeping throw any more ink on the floor? Fuck you, Dave. Son of a bitch. No, thank you very much. Although there are some specks of ink on. I mean, the floor is wood, so it wiped up fine. But I got a little bit of specks on the on a carpet, but you know, it's not a carpet, but like a mat. I can't remember basic words now. So yeah, there's just no getting around that. I had a studio in a friend's house once, and I actually spilt a jar of ink, and he never lets me forget it to this day. So Stephen Mooney, if you ever get to meet him, ask him about the ink on his floor, and he will tell you a story. Tooth. Declan, do you ever get tired of being asked to draw Moon Knight? I mean, you are known for drawing what is the definitive modern edition of the character, but doesn't it get somewhat tiring? Oh, hey, John. Tooth, it kind of does a little bit sometimes, you know. Not because I don't like drawing him, but because, you know, I can't do a bad drawing of him because everybody really likes this version of Moon Knight so much. So it's a little intimidating sometimes. You know, I worry a little sometimes. Like the more I draw of him, the less special it gets. But then I'll do one and it turns out well. So you know, I'll be just worrying about nothing. I'll tell you what. Like I don't know if you got the beginning of what I was saying there. I got 3 out of I think 13 commissions I have. 3 of them are Moon Knight, and that's fine. That's fine with me. If it was 13 commissions of Moon Knight, yeah, I'd get pretty sick of it. But 3 out of 13 is fine. Same with Batman, like the Batman from last week. I love drawing Batman, but I've had to draw him. It's weird. You kind of go whoever you're working on at the moment tends to be what you draw the most of. So a year ago it was Wolverine, and before that it was you know, Batman or Moon Knight or Deadpool. So you tend to end up being asked to draw whoever you're most recently drawn. So for me, it's nice to draw Moon Knight because, you know, that book ended, I guess what it ended 2015-ish. So, geez, 5 years ago, bloody hell. But like at this stage, I've probably done more Moon Knight commissions than I have pages, you know. Well, let's be getting to close that at this stage. I am a slave to my own success. Damn right, Tooth. Just too goddamn successful. That's my problem. So that color version you posted of the Batman was amazing. What was wrong with the black and white version, Dave? That's what I ask you. I think the black and white one was pretty damn amazing. Thank you very much. It actually was crazy that the one I did last week with you guys watching. I mean, I was definitely happy with it. I remember scanning it, going, "Oh, that actually turned out pretty well." Because I remember talking to you guys, going, "I have no idea what I'm doing," and then yeah, I ended up being quite happy with it. Stuck it online, and I'd say it's probably one of the biggest reactions I've gotten into anything in a while. if I'm being honest. But yeah, Jeff. What's his second name? Let me look it up actually, because he's a really good artist. He did an image book last year that I really I liked. What's his name? Jeff. He's French. He's a French man. Oh, Jeffo. Jeffo. That's what he goes as. I'm going to link him here because I just think he's really good. Anybody following? We should check this guy's stuff out. I don't know if he's on Twitch, but he's a really good artist. But yeah, he posted a colored. He colored that Batman commission from last week, and it's lovely. I actually was DMing him this morning saying that like I was going to color it, like I had something like that in mind, but now that he's colored it, there's really no point. Don't you go? Irish and sketchy. My Batman was pretty good. Sure, you had the fancy realism. Oh, yeah, yours is pretty good. I'll give you that. Love the song, but I cannot whistle. yeah, certainly don't want to follow that. It was annoying though, because well, not annoying, but I liked what he did a lot because I had similar things in mind to colours. Like asking about Moon Knight, the fun thing about doing Moon Knight is depends what version. So I don't know what the other people want, if they want the Mr. Knight or the superhero costume or whatnot. So even when I am asked to do a Moon Knight, it can still not be boring because it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same version of the character. Barely anybody asks for the Bone Skull costume, which bums me out because I'd really like to draw that one more. This way down. John, this is what is it? It's not American size, so it's nearly 12 by 8. Yeah, so 9, but not nearly. Yeah, pretty much 9 by 12. Yeah, pretty much. Our paper size is slightly different over here. To do Adam, I really enjoyed the bone suit the last time I saw you work on it here. Yeah, that probably was a while ago now, but it's great fun to draw. This is only in like half an issue. That was well, frustrating isn't the right term, but like when I was doing something on Moon Knight, I would spend all this time working on it, and me and Warren would have it back and forth, and then it shows up for a second, and then it's gone. But I would say that's kind of the nice thing about Warren. I think he knows not to overstay his welcome. Okay. Yeah, what John said there. It's A4. In the muddy, peaceful center of this town. Shady rain, everybody wants one. Shady rain, everybody needs one. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, is that right? Yeah, it's okay. Adam. That's what I like about you, Adam. You're always good to ask questions. Have you thought of working on a jam piece with Alex Maleev of you drawing Daredevil and him drawing Moon Knight, or vice versa? And the answer to your question, Adam, is absolutely not. No goddamn way. I have seen Alex Maleev's commissions in real life. Holy crap. No. I am of the opinion that me touching anything that he's worked on would just ruin it. Christ, he's amazing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen his. Oh, I'm getting all getting all worked up over here. No, his stuff is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm a fan of his anyway, but the commissions he does at conventions is so fucking amazing. Especially like the watercolor stuff. Because I was trying to do some watercolor stuff when I was at the same show as him, and I was thinking, yeah, I'll do this. Then I saw what he was doing, and I was like, oh no, no. Yeah, I'm not that bad of an artist. It's not that. I don't think I'm awful. I just don't think I'm anywhere near Maleev's level, frankly. I mean, I'm just not. At the end of the day, I'm just not. That's not to put myself down. I think I'm fairly good. I'm kind of drawing the costume before I'm drawing the hands properly, which is bad. It's generally, I would advise against. I ask because you two are synonymous with the characters you've had runs on. That's true, but I mean, he drew more Moon Knight than I did, in fairness to him. I'd feel weird because I think he did 2 5 or 6 issue arcs on the book with Bendis, whereas I've just done 6 issues, and I think I've been lucky that the 6 we did have had more impact than him and Bendis's one. That's not to say anything for the talent or skill or anything. It just kind of clicked, you know. I have not had a synonymous run with Daredevil, although I want to, but that has not happened. So it still feel like cheating. KDB89. Hello there. I don't believe we've met before. I imagine the bone suit is a lot of work to draw. I'm thinking similar to Azrael Batman and how artists hated following it. Yeah, I haven't properly drawn that Azrael costume, but I do remember it being complicated. The bone costume was complicated, yeah, it was. But it was still fun, and also because of my rule with how I draw Moon Knight, I don't do washes on him, so that helps a little. Excuse me. Dude, I'll tell you this, if it was top-off between Malieve original or Shalvey, I'm going to go which draws the hotter character. Well, that'll be Malieve then. I was able to solve that mystery for you. But that's fine. It's fine with me. I don't know. You have done some solid cheesecake beefcakes pieces too. I don't know if I've done that many too. I don't. Not deliberately, maybe accidentally. I've done a couple that I've definitely been trying to, like, you know, be a little something for the dudes. But I do think Malieve draws just more attractive people than I do in general. I gotta stop talking about Alex Malieve. It's not doing wonders for my confidence. Don't like that. Control yourself, Dave. I don't know. I don't know if I ever. I don't think I've ever shared it, but I did once do. Marvel were doing these Men of Power covers. They had done these Women of Power covers, and people were annoyed. So they were doing these Men of Power covers, and people sort of got annoyed, so they kind of disappeared. But I actually got to do a Hawkeye one, and it was definite beefcake. Like I remember thinking, like, why am I being asked to do this? But at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna go for this, and I handed it in, heard nothing back, and then when I inquired about it again, I was told the program was closed down. So I think I'm the one who got that destroyed. Because I was just blowing people's minds, clearly. KGB, hey, yes, first stream of your viewers I've watched, but I've always been a big fan. I'm the one on your commission list with the Oh, okay, cool. I haven't fit. I'm working on it. I was going to send this to you anyway. because I wouldn't normally like these commissions I kind of do on the fly, but yours because it's bigger, I'm putting more work into. So I don't know if you can see this. I was wondering, could you approve this just so I know I can go ahead? So it's Daredevil versus the Hand. It's a smaller Daredevil, as you can see. See, this is actually coming up on the video. Sorry, I'll make it. There we go. You can see that. Focus. So it's Daredevil leaping off basically a building. Like it's just like empty building space beneath him. Like so, it's kind of like he's going to fall to his death, will he? And these are all the Hand that are going after him. So there's a good. He's small, so I don't know if that'll bother you, but like there's going to be like 20 or so Hand guys. I was just trying to go for something that's pretty intense, rather than like just a shot of, you know. So I don't know if you can see here, but so his billy club has got like different kind of ninja stars stuck in it, and the line from his billy club swings down here, and he's kicked it, and it's flying over here and hitting one of the Hand guys. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, let me know if that's okay with you, because I was going to start on that next week, but I was going to send it to Cadence to get you approved, and then you come back, yada yada yada. I'll show you these actually. This is what I'm. Otherwise, in the commissions, I'm working on. This is a one-pager for a charity anthology that I said yes to. Is that on there? Yeah. So I've drawn this basic scene. It's about quarantine, basically. So it's all these different kind of scenarios, all totally different from each other, and then like a guy kind of vegged out, and you can see he's just looking at all these screens and all these things around. I'm a genius, but I'll have to draw that next week. I'm also working on a short story, a 4-page short story that I've written. Again, that'll be next week, and hopefully that commission as well, because I don't want to kind of hold on to that one too long. But it's pretty amazing. Love it now. Composition great. Approved. So I didn't need it. Well, I didn't need it, but I don't know. I'm not used to working on stuff that big if it isn't a cover. And sometimes when people want characters fighting, they want a kind of a more splash page image, which can be very boring, I think, personally. But yeah, but I don't know. I should realize if somebody's asking me to draw something, they want me to do it the way I would do it. But cool. I'm glad you like it, because I'm actually really looking forward to drawing that. I'd have to tear the thumbnail out. I haven't figured out. I still have to figure out these guys here, but it'll probably get more black here, to be honest, so that the focus stays on more on Daredevil. I need to draw some buildings here, but he's actually commissioned a full cover-sized image rather than these guys. So and it's not cheap either, so I want to make sure it's worth. Are we going to put? Sorry, are you going to put Kirigi in the crew? Adam, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm afraid. Sorry. Can I expand on that? Nice, baby, yeah. I saw your girlfriend and eating her fingers. Just another new one. She waits there. See, I'm just eyeballing the perspective here. Actually, I shouldn't do this, but Okay, I've done this once before. Who wants to see a surprise? And if I get, let me see, if I get 1 and 2, 1 for a surprise, 2 for no surprise. If I get 10 ones, I'll show you something that I probably shouldn't show you. Dave, all I do is toy with you. Oh, there's a few. 1, 2, 3. If it's a body part, no. I've already made that joke last week, Irish. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just counts as 1, John. 7. 8. Okay, 2 more. Summer day. Oh. Okay, 1 more. Okay, right. Thanks for the help. Like. Okay. This hasn't been seen, so if any of you know, or you might know, and I've done a variant cover for the Daredevil annual that Chip Zdarsky's written. So between us, this is the cover. See it. So I have it coloured and everything. It's all done, but I guess it's been delayed now because of the coronavirus thing. But you can see it's got Foggy Nelson, Nelson and Murdoch. It's got Daredevil with the re-elect Wilson Fisk poster. It's got you can see here there's Bullseye. But yes, that's the cover for the annual. And don't tell anyone I showed you this. But I don't know when they're going to release it. But I'm of course it's Daredevil, so I was just chuffed to do it. There you go. Don't say I never gave you nothing. Oh, thanks to actually, yeah, well spotted. Actually, I forgot that. If you can see, there's a graffiti here. It says stick. But yeah, so that's basically. It was nice to do kind of a ode to Daredevil. I was worried you might say that KTP. Where's my pencil? There it is. Okay. If my things myself to blame. Okay. Did I come from a design background? John's asking. Actually, no. Quite the opposite. I self-taught for the most part, but after school I went to an art college and I studied fine art printmaking. Um, I did a module of graphic design, but I absolutely despised it. I really, really hated it. Which is funny because I think I'd get way more out of it now. Um, I just wanted to be able to. I just wanted to learn how to draw. I wanted to draw people and things and comics and whatnot, and I didn't see the appeal of design. Which is funny now because I so I certainly see the appeal of it now. Um, Yeah, thanks, John. I mean, I like to think that my composition sense is good. I what kind of really did it was when I started drawing comics and I kind of got my first breaks and everything. Crap, it's the wrong thing. Sorry. Quiet phone. What was it? Yeah, I wasn't very good at drawing, so I think I kind of I used my lack of drawing ability. I used like a design approach to cover up the fact that I couldn't draw very well, or not as well as I wanted to, at least. And then after a while, I got better at drawing. So I kind of that approach, I really kind of practiced it a lot, and it helped me. But I definitely take more of an interest in design now. Like I pick up some books and stuff and kind of tinker around. And I've taken more of an interest in designing my own stuff. Like the graphic novel, the Bog Buddies graphic novel. I designed that logo and sorry, I'm trying to think and operate here at the same time. Both covers, especially, like I just feel it's not like doing a sequential page, and that's why I really hate like splash cover looking covers generally, because they're not doing that. They're not taking advantage of the storytelling tools that you can with covers, you know. But thank you. I appreciate you saying that because I do my best. One, two, three, oh, Bob Buddies look so damn good. Oh, thank you. Cheers. Yeah, that's down to Gavin. I can't really take credit. He's done some really really nice stuff in it. And yeah, it's I don't know if anybody here knows, but I shared on Twitter that there's a new date for it. It's going to be on the 20th of May, which I'm delighted about because people will finally get to see everything Gavin did. And sorry, I like to talk on these, but sometimes sometimes I actually do concentrate. Oh, thank you. Reading and writing. I have written a few things before. I've written Deadpool versus um, Old Man Logan. So I've written a Marvel book. I wrote and drew a Nick Fury serial a few years ago, and I did a graphic novel called Savage Town before. Actually, Bog Bodies it's not a sequel to Savage Town, but it's kind of let's say a successor. If that makes sense. But thanks for being willing to check out Bog Bodies, man. I appreciate it. Yes, you do need to get a copy of Savage Town immediately. Go now. But feel free if you want to. I would say if you do read Savage Town, you may get some extra enjoyment out of Bog Bodies. We'll put it that way. Oh, thanks, man. I just sketchy. Forbidden Planet emailed me earlier about the revised date. I ordered a signed copy. Oh, that's brilliant. Excellent. I was supposed to be doing a signing there, but I don't know if that's happening now. Well, it's not happening now, but hopefully it'll happen whenever things open up again. KGB, how do you feel about drawing clothing / fabrics? Do you find it difficult to fun? Don't care. Quite like it actually. I used to hate it because it is very difficult. But once you kind of get your head around it, I enjoy it more. Things like this is tough. Like, you know, I could just draw a superhero costume, but even when I draw superhero costumes, I think you notice I add in some folds and things, just because I think it's more dynamic than them just looking, you know, naked with color. But yeah, I've come to really enjoy it actually. I mean, you know, your net's never perfect and you never get 100% right, but I feel like I've got I would say 70% handle on it. I'd say, you know, I can always do better, and I aim to, but yeah, I quite enjoy it. Like that, the hand in that commission will be fun because they're all tunics and stuff. So I'm looking forward to drawing all those folds and things. I was just sketchy. I can't draw for shit. That's why I like watching people that know what they're doing. Well, I'm glad you think I know what I'm doing. I mean, there's only so much I know what I'm doing. You know, I've drawn a lot of buildings in my time, and you know, so I know kind of what I'm doing here. But at the same time, I'm just making a lot of it up as it goes. Like the fun part of doing these commissions, say, as opposed to yours, DB, is that these are quick. They're fast. I think on my feet. and there's a loose sort of quality about them, which I quite like about doing commissions, which is why I tend to not do ones like the one I'm doing for you. These are less commitment, and they're not too they don't stress me out too much, you know. So that's why, you know, things like the backgrounds on these are kind of block in and then just play around in ink, just because it's more fun for me, really. Your piece is going to be a lot more work. I'll actually be doing proper perspective and, you know, proper details and stuff. Original sketchy. You've got the perspective without guidelines, which is pretty epic scale. I mean, it's roughed out. Like it's not perfect perspective, but I'm of the opinion of if it looks right, it's right. And that's not it's technically fine. I tilted the perspective a little bit, but it's 1 point perspective. That's stuff you can just kind of eyeball. But you know, for me, basically, this background is just to service this figure, which is I want you to feel that he's leapt off something and he's got nowhere to land. Compositionally, he's up here, so there's space there. Even, you know, he's not going to land here. He's clearly going to fall somewhere. That's really the goal. And I would do that on a cover or something, but I'd probably put more work into like making this background really detailed and stuff. But then I'd push it back in the color hole, so that's why I wouldn't be as loose with the cover as I would on this. It's okay. So just check my email, make sure there's nothing too important. Nope, nobody loves me. There's a truck. It got stuck. Okay, normally I'd actually in Kim first, but I have to wait for that to dry. Okay. Adam, do you have any favorite comics related or creator related documentary you would recommend? Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I quite liked there was an Image. There's been a couple of Image Comics documentaries I think are really good because I'm a little young, like when the Image boom happened in the 90s. I was a little young and I didn't have access to that stuff, so I kind of missed a lot of it. So I found those quite informative. I know there's a Warren Ellis one. I watched that before I worked with him. There's a 2000 AD one there a while ago that I thought was pretty interesting. I guess there hasn't been any docs in a while. I do appreciate a well-made one. The problem is, I do think sometimes the documentaries in this field of comics can be a bit, you know, a bit too fan-orientated. That Jonathan Ross one by Stan Lee was really interesting, I have to say. Sorry, not about Stan Lee, about Steve Ditko. There you go. I did the one thing that the documentary was trying to stop. Captured Ghost was so good. I can't remember. You know, I can't really remember it. I just remember going, "Hey, I know that person." But yeah, it would be interesting to see that kind of stuff. I personally would love to see one kind of about the Irish comics boom that's happened in the last few years. Like, it's not an industry boom, but it's a creative one. Because Ireland's Arts Council completely ignores comics, pretty much, in my experience. And I think I've been watching, I watched some documentaries about like the punk movement in the UK in the 70s and stuff. And, the DIY kind of feel to a lot of it. And it just kind of reminds me of like, what's been happening the last few years. And I think it'd be cool if someone did that. Also because everyone just, and this is a specifically me thing, but everyone yaps on about the British invasion, and that was fucking years ago. Whereas there's so many Irish people now doing really well in comics. I think it's pretty great. Oops. The 70s was the Filipino invasion. Lol. The 80s, the Vertigo crew. It'd be cool to see guys like you and Stockman bullshitting and talking comics for camera. It would. Well, not so much Stockman because all he do is badmouth me, but no, it would be like me, Mooney, Stockman, Will, Nick Roach, like Stephen Byrne, Derek Landy, like a lot of people doing some really good stuff in mainstream stuff, not to mention the indie stuff. Like Luke Healy and like colours like Trina Farrell and Jarlath Kelly and like we're punching above our weight for a while now. Stockman is the Archbishop of Banterbury on Twitter. Well said. Yeah. He's a piece of work, alright. Oftentimes I'll be browsing, I'll just see something he said, I'm just laughing my ass off. Unfortunately, sometimes it's something he's saying to me or about me, but funny is funny. Shalvey, don't mess this up now. And talking about his Spidey to nice stuff would be awesome. He was in that book for a bit. He was, yeah, for a good long bit. KTV, I enjoy the more recent watercolor commissions. I know some publishers don't let artists color their own work, so I figured it might be to get some reps in. And Dave, yeah, that's true. I actually don't think it's such a bad thing sometimes because I've seen some artists color their own stuff and it's awful. But naturally, that rule doesn't apply to me because I'm brilliant. No, I was doing the watercolor commissions just as an experiment. KGB, I'll have to keep calling you that. I like seeing watercolor commissions, and it's something watercolor is something I kind of struggle with. So I used commissions as an excuse to kind of experiment. But I found them pretty stressful because I was worried that they weren't good and that people wouldn't be happy with them. And I wanted to take some commissions now because I know there won't be any. I don't see there are any conventions happening, and I'm pencils down at the moment, so I figured they'd be good to do. But I also didn't want to overcommit myself to something that would stress me out right now. I might do them again, to be honest, at some stage, but especially seeing Dave's the stuff Dave posts. Dave posts some watercolor tests and stuff, and I really like those. I wish I was able to do that stuff. Um, well, I mean, I don't think it's a hard and fast rule, by the way, about color artists not coloring themselves. I think sometimes publishers like want. It's the same reason why they don't want some guys doing covers, because it takes them too long to do sequential pages. But they've been cool with me. I think I've been coloring my own covers for the last year or so, and it's gone pretty well, I think. And now Marvel don't really bat an eye when I offer to color my own covers. So I just want to tighten up some of this stuff. I know I was doing it freehand, but sometimes it's a little bit too freehand, you know. Kyle. No, you're right, Kyle. Okay, well, if you can, it might be handier because I have a hard time. I like to address people by their name. Then I'm trying to translate in my head. But Kyle. Well, yeah, what you say isn't not true, but it's also not it's also not across the board. But yeah, coloring myself is something I made a point of trying to do more in the last year, and it's worked out well for me because I've really enjoyed it. It slowed me down a little bit, but it's resulting in work I'm a lot more proud of, you know. That's my. Kyle, yeah, I know DC wouldn't allow Gillian March to do most of his own colour work, which is a shame because he's amazing with watercolour. I'm sure it's to keep the line moving mostly. Yeah, his work is amazing with watercolour, and I suspect that's the case, yeah. I think DC might be a little bit harsher with stuff than Marvel, but I don't know for sure. But I would say, like, watercolour would slow him down an awful lot, and they probably just want him to get pages done. Like, I just wrote this short story that I'm going to draw, and I was going to colour it, but I realised I need to move on to other things, so I'll hand it over. But the one pager I showed you earlier, I'm going to colour that myself. Because the thing is, well, I know that if I colour a page that I drew, I'm going to take 3 times longer than a colourist would take. And it's not because I'm 3 times better, it's because I'm going to be too into it, and I'm going to probably overwork it and over labor it. Whereas, like professional full-time colorists know, they're good with time, they're able to figure out the best, most economical and more interesting way to do it. Plus, also sometimes the artist is way too into the drawing and can't be objective about it. And then you spend ages going over something and over and over and over. Because it's Photoshop, you could do a million layers and you can really dig yourself into a hole. Not the colorists that doesn't happen to colorists, but I think less so because they're used to dealing with so many different people's work. This was the. Sorry, I'm missing something here. There it is. That's not too bad. An hour so far. I think this probably wrap this one. We'll wrap this one up a little bit earlier than usual. Oh, Adam, have there been any details you have about the characters you draw that are headcanon for you, but never explicitly states in whatever story you're working on? Let me think that one. Any details you have about the character you draw that are headcanon for you? I don't think so. Yes, do you mean, is there anything like to a character that isn't there technically but is in my own head? That's what I'm understanding from your question. I have to think about that, to be honest, man. Okay, head scratcher. You know, I mean, like, I'm not particularly precious about characters. I like, you know, people have asked on here, you know, who would I want to play in Moon Knight, and my answer's kind of been I don't care. And it's not that I don't care at all. It's just I think I'm fairly open with this stuff. There are people who know Moon Knight so much more than I do. I know our run. That's pretty much it. I read the Sienkiewicz stuff, but I don't remember much from it, to be honest, other than the drawings being really, really cool. I see. I'm not trying to dispel any ideas about artists, but like so much of what you do is kind of physical labor. And you know, I don't spend a lot of time working on the character, thinking about the character. I probably am spending a lot of time of like I probably have more feelings on that stuff with something like Injection, for example, where I've put more of myself into it. Moon Knight was kind of just an avatar for telling stories for me, for telling cool stories. It's kind of story first, and then character comes from that. For me. I.e., Moon Knight never wears leather belts because he had a pet cow as a kid or something silly. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I never think of that stuff. I think a little details like actually Moon Knight wears cowboy boots. Nobody knows that. I drew them, but they're not like they don't read as cowboy boots because you don't see up his shins. But like I had a girlfriend who had cowboy boots, and I'm like, those are cool. I would like to draw those, and I figured it made more sense that Moon Knight would have like stylish boots than stylish shoes. So while never explicitly stated, it is what I've drawn. Like that's why the tips of his shoes have a point and they're not just flat. I think. But no, I'm not thinking like, well, he did that because his uncle had a dude ranch or anything like that. No. Even with writing stuff, to be honest, man, I think a lot of like something so much of that before you get into wank territory. That's just me, though. I'm sure there's other people who would think about this way more. I'm generally trying to figure out a problem, like a storytelling problem. Like writer wants it here, but it kind of wouldn't work that great because they need to come in on the right hand side. So kind of more technical. You sure did, Dave. Remember what stream you're tuned into. It's the Shalvey stream. So it's only a matter of time before you get to wank territory. Well, thanks for the question, Adam. Sorry if I'm my answer is disappointing. You can see here, there's a bit of a schmutz here because I put my hand here and then I put it there, and now there's a bit of a print, and that's bugging me. So I'm going to make use of it. See what I mean again about these commissions being a bit more kind of experimental, say. Oh, Adam, no, I asked because back in the day I hung out with a bunch of artists to be drawing and dumb funny stuff would come out, like, let's explain why they did certain things. Not my experience anyway, but yeah, I think you're right there. What I'm using on the clouds is the very same I used on the buildings here. It's a Pentel color brush pen, but there's no actual color in it. What I do is I dip it in like watered down Indian ink. So this is a light Indian ink, and now I've got a darker one here. Where I'm gonna touch up and add some extra scratches and things. Have you ever drawn in something that's snuck by an editor as a joke on the page or anything like I said, Rivix Naked Nightcrawler? I haven't seen that actually. Yeah, I have. I can't really do that anymore though. I was drawing a page of Punisher, and I wrote in like a license plate, and just a license plate. I just made it up just so to have a license plate, and Marvel asked if it was like something, if it was meant to be something. I was like, no, it's just a license plate. But they were checking in case I was trying to sneak something in. After there's that guy who snuck in like some anti-Semitic stuff. So he's really fucked it up for the rest of us who like to have some fun now and then. But I snuck in some 30 Rock references to my first issue of Thunderbolts. There's a Who Dat Ninja poster in there, and I put in like a Punisher movie poster for the laugh. Drew in some cameos. The guy, which isn't sneaking past an editor as such, but still, it's, you know, you'd ask the editor. The kind of bad guy in the 4th issue of Moon Knight is an old roommate of mine in Scotland. The cashier in the Asgard hamburger place is a guy who's he actually worked at Marvel. In Venom, I drew a comic shop there that it was because the book was set in Philadelphia. I drew a comic shop that was in Philadelphia in there. I snuck that in. Little things like that. Nothing risque though. There was a scene in an issue of one of the books that Nate was drawing, Exiles, and there was a scene in Dublin, and he drew a statue of me in there, and Marvel made him change it. Actually, I wonder if the original is still me. I must ask him, buy it off him. I'm going to do that after the stream. Okay, I think this is done. Yeah, Adam. That's kind of put the kibosh on everybody else. They're very being very vigilant, which sucks because you know, it's nice to just sneak something in for fun, but yeah, what your man was doing was no joke, so I can understand why they'd be sensitive about it. Hey Kyle, you changed your name. No, no, Dublin doesn't have a statue of me, but you're right, it should. I like the way you think. Oh yeah, let me see that image. I'm not sure if it counted as naked as such. I mean, he is, but a bit of license there. Just gonna push back some of this stuff here. Oh, well, I'm not surprised as that would be adamant about anything. I mean, it's definitely naked, but I mean, you can get away with saying that it's, yeah, it's superheroes, they all kind of look naked. I don't know if that'll count as getting it over editorial. I don't think that would really. Well, then again, you never know. I don't think they would have been as worried back then anyway. But I don't think that would get. I don't think that would be allowed now. Also, I think it can be a little bit. I mean, I'm not criticizing Esad here because he could kick the shit out of me. But you know, I get worried sometimes that people just think like you know, artists don't take this in direct contrary to how I said you can take things too seriously to Adam earlier. I don't want anyone to think that like artists just are just trying to get one over everybody every time. I think sometimes we spend so long on this stuff, sometimes you're just kind of looking for a little bit of ways to entertain yourself. Can't do now in comics now. I still think it's really weird. It's not Wolverine smoking cigars. I understand it. I mean, I'm personally in that one for censorship, but at the same time, these are not, you know, if you want to do that, do it with your own characters, really. Um, it's not illegal. I could draw Wolverine with a cigar right now if I wanted to. It isn't illegal, you know. But if Marvel don't want to do that with their characters, that's their business, really. That's kind of how I see it. Okay, guys, this bad boy is done. Not too bad, too. Just an hour and a half. It's a little bit faster than normal. Kyle, if you look closely, you can see Nightcrawler's spread eagle in the reflection of Thor's helmet in a past issue editor. Yeah, maybe maybe might have an obsession with Nightcrawler then. Right, okay, that's me done, guys. I am going to scan this guy and stick her online. Thanks for keeping me company. Thanks for the questions and get me going for get me entertained for the last hour and a half. But I may stream tomorrow. What time is Wednesday? Yeah, I think I'll stream tomorrow again and get another commission done and try to get through them more. But yeah, thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow's then. But oh wait, sorry, wait. I'll zoom in here so you can see it a bit better. Yep, that's it. So right, yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow. So guys.